All right, we are live. Gonna give it just a
Right.
couple of moments here to see if everyone gets on and double check the sound real quick here. This is always the technical part that's so much fun, but I think everybody knows in YouTube we're
Yes.
all amateurs, right?
Yes.
So we'll give it just another minute, but this is in the cards, and I'm Joelle, and I have a wonderful guest this evening. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. And in the meantime, let me get my cards out. And, I channeled already kind of which cards were to be used. So I've got those on deck. And I'm excited to see what the evening's messages are going to bring. So give it just one more minute here. This is the space for the Good Vibe Tribe, and this is in the cards. This is going to be all things Oracle and Tarot with a sprinkle of astrology today. All right. Let's see here. I think I don't have enough space in my office. I need a bigger office for my cards.
Me
So,
too.
all right. Well, this is in the cards, and I'm Joelle. Okay. Hey, we got someone. Hey. Oh, yes, this is going to be a future guest on my show. I can't wait to talk tarot with you, Chris. Come on into the chat. I think we're gonna go back to that zombie tarot deck. So every week that I'm here with other card folks and we're sharing our readings and drawing cards together, and I have the best time. So this is in the cards with me. I'm Joelle and the Viberarian, and this evening I am joined by Stay Fly Tarot or Stay Fly Coaching. You can look for it either way. LaTisha Rogers.
Hey. Hi,
Yes.
everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited. Last night was your interview on the Psychic Inside show, and you'll be able to catch that on this YouTube channel when I get it updated. I'm a little behind in terms of what I'm doing. And if you just give me one pause, I've got like some real lag in between. It's kind of throwing me off as I'm looking at myself. I got to get to the right screen. Otherwise, I've got a little bit of an echo. Okay. And moderator, thank you. Moderator's in place. So last night was your interview. You shared about your journey moving into how you serve the world now through your stay fly coaching, which is fly is for what?
Forever loving yourself.
Yes, yes, a metaphysical coach. And we had a great conversation. And since you have your own YouTube channel, I thought it would be really cool if we got together and we read cards for today.
Yes.
Now, uh, your background is that you are into symbology and numerology and astrology, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So because this is the eclipse portal, hey Stacy, yay, the crew is all coming up. These are all the cardies. So glad to see. We've got the Woosah Weekends facilitator, Stacy Mullen of Good Trouble Hair. We got, Chris, are you going to be doing a hugging business? Did I see it correctly? Are you going to be doing like compassionate touch care? Drop a comment in there. I want to see. I saw something come across your IG. So anyway, it's just a beautiful group of people here. And I want to acknowledge each of you who are joining this evening because we are on the cusp tonight of the Aries Solar Eclipse. And this is like a big deal, right? So can
Yes.
you break down some astrology for us about this?
So it's the second new moon. It's all about that critical degree of 29 degrees Aries. And so with that, you're clearing the path of endings. It's time to end. Um, it's time for things to end, and it's time for these things to begin. So the last new moon, if you didn't initiate or you said you were going to start, you took your time. Now is the time that the rug is going to be pulled from under you. So you got to make that decision whether you want to or not. So the best thing you can do is be confident and trust yourself, trust your intuition, and move forward with what you need to do. Because if you don't, it's just going to happen for you.
Mm. I mean, I always see that show Wipeout that used to come on,
Uh-huh.
and there's a thing called the big balls, right? And you're
Yeah,
standing on this platform, and your goal is to like leap over these three bouncing balls, and the odds are not in your favor, right? But if you hesitate too long, another big ball comes from behind and boop, bumps you off, and that's it. You're definitely not going to survive at that point, right? So
exactly.
it's a matter of timing in terms of whether the tower comes from the inside or the tower, talking tarot archetype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whether the tower comes from the external. Now, aren't solar eclipses more prone for the external sudden revelation
Mm-hmm.
versus the
Yes.
lunar eclipse, which
Eclipse.
is more about
Mm-hmm.
our internal
Internal, yes.
shadow?
So it's clearing up all that outside garbage. And then it's also happening at 12:12 a.m.
Mm,
And so with that, that angel number, that is your it's your wake up call. It's for you to, be either in contentment or joy, or you're about to be. So something, that tower moment, I always do that Marilyn Monroe quote, that bad things fall apart so good things can come together. And
mhm.
it's up to you to decide what good is for you and your world and what's coming together.
Okay, all right. They say it could be pretty explosive and volatile, like striking of a match almost, right? With that Aries impact. Uh,
Yes.
So now in terms of that's tonight in Eastern time zone at 12:12, right?
Yes.
In terms of when it begins. And I think you can stream it on like space.com and a
Mm-hmm.
couple places on YouTube if you want to catch it. And mark your calendars because next year, what is it, April 8th, it will be visible in the United States for a solar eclipse, but you got to be a little further to the Midwest, I think like of Texas and through that area, Oklahoma, Arkansas, if you want to see it next year, like we did in 2017. So,
Yes.
all right. So, oh yeah, you read tarot. Like, how do you use
Yes.
cards in your practices personally and professionally?
I, like you, get a deck that I'm drawn to, and I just begin to shuffle, and whatever falls out, whether I like it or not, I take it and go with it.
All right. Do you prefer tarot or oracle, or do you just use whatever you're guided to?
I use whatever I'm guided to. Usually it's a mixture of both.
Okay. All right. So, what decks have you got on deck this evening?
So the tarot deck I have is a new one. It's the Spirit of the Cosmos tarot deck
Mm,
by Joan Zodians. And
okay.
she incorporates not only the tarot, but she puts the astrology words and what the meanings are on the cards itself. And then I also have the Black Moon astrology oracle deck,
Oh, okay.
and then also a numerology deck just for fun.
Okay. Can you show the boxes or covers of those decks?
I can
Uh,
show the
Oh,
Spirit of the
that's
Tarot
beautiful. Spirit of the
one. Mhm.
Cosmos.
And then
Okay.
I don't have the box of the Blue Moon or the numerology one.
Okay. Is the numerology deck in the purple box?
Yes,
Okay, yes, I have
that
that one. Okay.
that purple
Yes.
one. Yes.
I'll put that in the notes as well. I'm behind in my show notes, but eventually we'll get all this annotated for
And the
future
Black
reference.
Moon, they look like that on the back.
Okay.
And that's so fun.
Okay. All right. So we'll get from you and the decks that I was guided to pull out. This deck I have only used once or twice. It's the Arcana of Astrology deck.
Mm.
And so I thought that that would be appropriate. And the message on the inside of the jacket is let the stars be your guide, right? So I think that with this eclipse being the big energy, that we have to give some real acknowledgments to its influence. So that's kind of why I wanted to focus on the astrological component in this reading, especially with your expertise as well. So, like, go ahead if you want to go ahead and draw. Oh, and the other decks in terms of astrology, so I've got my Astral OG deck by Crystal Banner. Okay,
I have
love
that
her
too. Yes.
designs. Young sisters doing it with stationery and products, and her cards are awesome. I really don't. I don't read with my astrological decks very much because I'm tending to have kind of like oracle conversations. More, this is more about study for me, like understanding how things operate. So I'm excited to get to use that. And then I'm also going to pull from the sacred geometry activations, again, because you have the metaphysical background and the numerological awareness that we'll be able to augment as well. And last but not least, the healing energy oracle. I don't know where I did with the box on this one, but it's around here. But these will just be like a beautiful energy to help us close out the eclipse as we head towards that moment this evening when we wrap things up. So we got a full plate of things to look at here. And so we'll go ahead and have you start with the tarot and we'll go from there.
It's funny. The first card that flew out is the Tower.
Okay. All
which is
right.
perfect. And it's that, Mars energy ruling the Tower, which is very perfect because Mars is over Aries. And it is that volatile, that fiery energy, that action. It's time for you to take action on whatever it is you're procrastinating on. And as you can see, like in the picture with them throwing the fire at the tower, it's like, if you don't get out of the burning building, we're going to set it on fire to make you or force you to get out. So it's time.
That's so interesting, that image that was in that particular card, because not more than 30 minutes ago, I was texting with my sister and we were talking about something that to us is not controversial. It's a book, right? But I knew that it was a book that was very challenged in terms of parents wanting to not put it in their libraries. And so the movie Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is coming out. And that's a book that speaks to preteen girls. So I figured that it would be people protesting the movie already because they protested the book. So I said, they're going to be out with pitchforks and torches, right? And I sent her the picture of the people from Shrek with the pitchforks when they were coming for Shrek, the ogre, and they were gonna, try to run him out of the town, the forest or whatever. And he just kind of like was like, you guys are foolish, right? And the fearful crowd, like the angry people trying to cancel or protest or squash us, right? And it's it is very volatile on a level right now out on the public stage. We have people getting shot in the back and people pulling gun triggers like a hair trigger and getting angry and fighting at parties. So I think there is definitely that Mars Aries god of war element that's really experienced by a certain degree of our society right now as well. Can you hold out that card again?
Yes.
Very interesting. And that's the Blue Moon Tarot, or the
Spirit of the Cosmos.
Beautiful, beautiful images. Okay. All right. What else do you?
And then with the black moon, 10th house, the world.
Oh, wow. I love how it's the eye in there.
Yes. Yes.
And then it also even looks like a figure or something holding. That's a very beautiful artwork.
Yes. And for me, I'm drawn to the clock.
Oh, it is. And are those zodiac signs or just numbers?
Numbers, the
Numbers, okay.
Roman numerals. Yes.
Okay. And so what
Yes.
is the 10th house in astrology?
So the 10th house is your career house. It's your public image, what career you want to do. Um, and it goes along with how you want to show in the limelight. So it's almost like with this energy, how you now want to present to the world. It's you no longer can hide now. It's time for you to come into the public, come out of the forefront, come out of hiding, and do what you need to do to show up for yourself. Because the
Okay.
people, they need you. They need your uniqueness, whatever it is you bring to the table, they need that. It's just like actors, singers, it's time.
Okay. Okay. I know somebody who Melanie, Naked Lady Mandalas, just signed the lease to her new organic juice bar that her and her husband have dreamed of opening.
Yeah.
And she was like, I can't believe I signed the lease. And I know I'm free to share this. She would share it herself on today with the eclipse happening in this Aries energy. And she said it was very unexpected that it happened like right now, but now it's here.
Yes.
And they were in there hammering and sawing already. Like she was like, I can't believe it. So that sudden bursting forth of new energy for real is pretty cool in that.
Yes.
Let me see what comes up in this. I'll be real interested to see if 10th house then echoes a message in terms of what we get from this deck. Let's see here. Oh, Chiron, the wounded healer. So tell us about Chiron.
Chiron is the wounded healer, but it's almost like where you trying to explain it in such a way where you are wounded, where you need to heal.
Okay.
So for me personally, Chiron is in my 10th house. And so for me, in order to heal, I am more shy to step out into the limelight and promote myself like I'm supposed to. And so in order to heal, I have to put myself forward. I have to be out in the limelight in order to heal what's inside of me. So it's that thing that you are stagnant on, that you are afraid to do. To me, Chiron is your uncomfortable zone. And when you step into that, you're allowing yourself to heal that and do said thing, because it is tough to step into that uncomfortableness because you fear the unknown.
Right. And if you favor, there's been a conversation of late about protective things, like how the body adapts itself to avoid pain. And I get teased because I walk like a question mark sometimes, twisted over. But like we do adapt to protect without even knowing it, our tender places. And we do that emotionally too, right?
Yes.
And like the whole Chiron thing is, was he like a minotaur or centaur or some kind of, right? And he was invincible, but then he gave up like a bit of his immortality or something because he got bit in the heel. I don't know the exact story. Do you know it?
The story that I have known is that he got shot by an arrow. And it was the arrows that he would normally defend, and one of the other centaurs hit him with an arrow by accident, and so he couldn't heal that. And so he gave
Mm.
up in order to be able to heal from it. He did give up his immortality so he could pretty much essentially pass away from it.
Okay, I was
Mhm.
close. I was,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
vaguely familiar. Um, okay, so it has here the healer. The symbols are keys, herbs, shooting stars, and rainbows. And my sister actually also told me that my nephew and her saw a double rainbow in the sky, that he was so excited. And
Oh,
he
wow.
said, what if there was a million rainbow and the whole world was a rainbow? I said, well, that would be very beautiful. So that
Yes.
was also yesterday. All right. So I
Wow.
received the rainbow, right, through the mouths of children. It
Yes.
says, abandoned by his parents and left to die, the immortal centaur Chiron was taken in by the twins Apollo and Artemis. He became a healer and had a gift for bestowing just the right knowledge on just the right person. He was a guide to many important figures, most famously Jason of the Argonauts. In a stroke of fate, Chiron was accidentally wounded by Hercules, but unable to die, he was forced to tend his wound over and over again. Chiron is now technically a planetoid in astronomy. He remains an important asteroid figure in astrology, where he is the key between the inner and outer planets. He lives in the space between the conscious and the unconscious mind, bridging the gap between us as individuals and us as part of the masses. Where Chiron is located in your natal chart is where you will need to tend to an ongoing wound. The house is where you feel particularly inadequate, and the sign represents how that inadequacy manifests. While it can never be fully healed, you can use the lessons you learn along the way to improve other areas of your life. The aspects between Chiron and the outer planets in our natal chart point to where and how we can help our community. Just like this great centaur took the gift of knowledge he was given and passed it on to others, you too can make a difference if you try. Oh, that's very spot on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it says in
Mm-hmm.
a reading, Chiron appears when we have that nagging feeling of self-doubt we just can't shake. You already have all the tools you need to solve your problems. Not you just have to do some deep reflection to find them. Try as we may, even the most evolved of people carry their trauma with them wherever they go. How they use this trauma is what is important. Are you lashing out at those around you, or are you focusing your emotions on something productive to better your life and the lives of your community? This asteroid carries with it a delicate balance between inward focus, or tending to yourself, and outward focus, tending to others. Swaying too far in one direction can make us overindulgent and selfish, and the other way can leave us feeling neglected and burnt out. This is an ongoing theme of life that we all must experience at one point or another. The key words are wounds, healing, knowledge, gift, silver lining, hope, despair, and sadness. And it is on page 84, which is a 12.
Mm.
All right, for the resonance.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And the house that comes up is the last card, the bottom of the deck was sixth house.
Mm.
Okay, so what's the sixth house? That was a deep Okay. Let's
So the
talk about it.
sixth house talks about your habits, your routines, your health. So,
Mm,
um, are there things you're ignoring with your health? We're all starting with the whole, spring and starting new things. What diets or what ways did you want to change? Where are you lacking? For me, my biggest thing is I need to drink more water.
I
so,
did too.
so my
Oh,
body is like forcing me to be like, "Oh, you're going to get it whether you want it or not.
right.
Do you want to end up in the hospital because
Oh
you
my gosh.
refuse to drink water?"
Yes,
So it's that, okay, you don't do it, we'll do it too.
that's what
We'll
I
do it
was
for you.
just, yeah, spirit. Okay, I hear you. Right, spring cleaning, right? It's
Yes.
spring. Like my body's like, okay, now winter's over. Well, let's get going.
Hmm. Hmm.
This actually is on page 75, which is 12. So There we've got our 12-12, right? All
Well,
right.
12.
The house of health and habits. The zodiac ruler is Virgo. The planetary ruler is Mercury. And we're getting ready to be in
Mercury
Mercury
retrograde.
retrograde shadow, aren't we?
Yes.
What's this
Yes.
Mercury retrograde going to be in? Do you know?
Ooh, I don't. And I had
We'll
it.
read on that when we
Yes.
get full on in it, right? Why we don't need to bring the early Mercury retrograde energies to the table. Let us stay where it is, right? Oh, we got enough challenges right now. The earth element is earth. The position is cadent, and the house type is a work house. It says habits, hobbies, and health is the ideal way to sum up the sixth house, ruled by Mercury and home to Virgo. This house is where you come up with your to-do lists, your workout routines, and how you decide your method of transportation when you head off to work. Being one of the work houses, this house is a challenging area, even if it contains traditionally positive planets. People with a heavy sixth house natal chart can be prone to restrictive eating habits and obsessive behaviors. But given the determined nature of this house, these energies can easily be channeled into healthier patterns. Planets transitioning through the sixth house can bring disruption of work or a change in health and allow you to reevaluate your routines to be more productive. In a reading, while the fifth house is all about fun, the sixth house card is a sign that it's time to get back to work. Putting off completing your to-do list just results in a longer list. It is better to get ahead so you don't overwhelm yourself later. Look for ways to streamline or switch up your routine to keep things from getting too stale. The sixth house can also mean that something is going on with your health. If you've been neglecting your body, now's the time to try to reconnect with it, whether it is changing your way of eating or trying different exercises. This card is the boost of confidence you need. The key words are disorders, work, the grind, list, change, and confidence. All right. So this is a handy little tool. I mean, it's interesting to use it as an oracle and an informational in the same reading. So definitely, okay. Like you said, putting the wounded self and getting your affairs together in order. That's a perfect timing message for me, and I will receive that. All right. So what's the next deck that you have?
Let me see what numbers we have.
April 21st to May 14th.
And it's in Taurus.
In Taurus. So that's another earth house, right?
Yes. I got adventure, which is 55.
By 5, yes.
So it's all about that changing. And who says, it brings me to, who says all change is bad? You know, we can look at this is necessary change. This is change that, you know, has to happen. But, you know, it propels you forward. It pushes you through almost like a foggy day. You still have to go to work or get to where you're going. You just have to use caution. You just have to take your time and get through it. And I feel like with this energy that's going on, take your time, get through it, but also acknowledge, look around, be adventurous, see what's new, because you're having to kind of slow down into this change and embrace it.
It's interesting because the color is resonant on yours. And it says so much of blue and healing and throat and
I was just gonna say, you gotta speak it.
higher guidance. All right. All right. I just had to bring that back out. Okay, so the 55 is like also the state of flux, change. Is 5, and ascended masters is another resonant number for me with the number of 5. What is say chaos is a ladder is from the Game of Thrones, right? And that's true that things get real unorganized before they fall into a new structure. Right.
And then
So,
5 also is Mercury
oh
as
yeah,
well. So it is about that communication. So it's time for you to start meaning what you say and say what you mean.
okay. All right. Let's see what the Astro OG wants to add to that. Right. Ooh, it is the quality of a sextile, which says potential, talent, stimulation, relationship friendly, communicative, creative, expressive, cooperation, encouraging, inspiring, and helpful. That is surely a spark. That's like that moment of inception, right?
Yes. Yes.
And there's even a little sparkle over here of
Mm-hmm.
metallic on the card. So a sextile in astrology, can you speak about that?
So a sextile is planets coming together and working together in a harmonious way.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
so falling apart and then
Yes.
coming back
And
together in
together
a, okay,
in a harmonious way. Yes.
okay,
Yes.
I can see with that.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's a harmonic, angle is 60 degrees, energy, creation, complementary, inspiring, and helpful. Okay, I can see that. I mean,
Yes.
your potentiality, what are we going to create?
Great. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's awesome. And on the bottom of the deck in this deck, we have, oh, Aquarius, the diplomat, inventive, original, opinionated, analytical, distant, intellectual, humanitarian, friendly, tolerant, outgoing, and ruler of the 11th house. I like that because, like, what do we say? This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right? We're bringing in this new, and things have to fall apart before they can come together better and totally be shifted. So I think this is beautiful. You say you got to break eggs to make a cake.
Yes. Yes, you do.
All right. And so Aries is what, air sign.
Aquarius is the air sign and
Yes.
Aries is fire.
Oh, did I say Aries? Yes. Aquarius, yes. Air sign, curiosity, though it's known as the water bearer, even though it's not a water sign.
Mm-hmm,
All
mm-hmm,
right.
mm-hmm.
And we just passed it at what, the beginning of what, February?
Yep.
Or late
Came out of
January,
it
early
in, yeah.
February.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. So inception point. All right. What's the next card that you have?
The bottom of the Spirit of the Tarot's deck is the 6 of Wands.
Oh, victory.
Yes. Which is
Oh,
that
I
Leo.
love that deck. It is very lively. I
Yes.
really think the imagery is very nice.
And also, if you have a black light, which I haven't gotten yet, she made it in such a way that if you shine a black light on it, there's a different image.
What?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
we got to get you on with the black light.
I know.
See that. Okay. Thank you for letting me know something.
Yes.
Now I gotta put it on my list. That's really cool. I love the evolution of how cards are coming out now. So
Exactly.
that one, I'm like, I just heard. There was a song I heard when I first saw it. I don't know, fire or something like in that, right? Where like she's got that soul glow.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like, yes, that's a very empowering kind of card. So the 6 of Wands in tarot is about, normally it's a little knight riding in town in the Rider-Waite deck. He's sitting on his little thing and he's got the victor's wreath and the people are like cheering him on and he's like receiving the accolades of the crowd. But like the lesson is to not like receive your laurels, but don't rest on them, because
Mhm.
6 is not the completion of your journey as a knight. You will face further toils and tribulations in your journey as you proceed on the road. But for now, go ahead and get your shine on.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And
Okay, so we're going to be victorious, right?
mhm.
That's positive energy and success. So that is a great herald of the transformation that
Yes.
we're undergoing.
Yes. And it's beautiful, and it's still utilizing that fiery energy to keep you going, because Leos are that boastful, look at me, I'm out there, I'm gonna do this. And then with it being in Jupiter, that expansiveness,
Mhm.
um, it's like going for the gusto. If you gotta be out there and the world, the universe, source is forcing you to do it, hey, you might as well shine bright and go ahead.
Right, right. Do your thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right, let's see what sacred geometry wants to support this experience. Okay, I feel like buckle up, buttercups, hang on for the ride, right? And know that it's gonna be all right on the other side of it, but it might be a little hairy for a little bit
Mhm.
as things deconstruct. All right, one more shuffle. Right, what we got here. Oh, beautiful. This is perfect. Fertility.
Ooh,
Look at that blue.
yes.
Ooh, that is gorgeous. And it's the same blue we're working with on our,
Mhm. Mhm.
yes. All
Yeah.
right. So it says here, and it's interesting because we have both the green and the blue with the structure. And in this one, we have both the green and the blue as well,
Yes.
form and the emotion, like earth and water, both
Mhm.
bringing stuff into growth. It says the frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. I love that. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. That is a new and grander age of Aquarius, birth of consciousness,
Mhm.
if ever. Oh, and this is blue too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I see you, blue.
All
All
right.
right, let's see here. I want to know, because do you have this deck?
I do.
Isn't it
I
beautiful?
love it.
The number 9 is what? Nearing the
Completion.
completion and
Mhm.
conclusion of a
Mhm.
cycle.
Release, culmination. So it's all about letting go and transforming.
All right, it says here, when the long dark days of winter finally give way to the arrival of a new season, all of existence responds to glorious expression. The voices of songbirds fill the air, a hint of green appears on trees and plants, and people walk with a little more bounce in their step, a smile on their faces. Spring is a time of fertility when all of existence is bursting with the potential of new life, a time of expansion and promise. We see it around us in the outer world, and we feel it inside us in the inner world. It feels like a grand yes is breathed over us and into us from everywhere. Usually, fertility refers to the ability to produce offspring. In the new energy, we are invited to consider fertility as the potential to grow something new and inspiring, an idea, a project, a new paradigm. The blues and greens in the image refer to the fertile grounds on which something new can grow. The clouds remind us of the spiritual aspects of the fertility concept, like the birth of a new consciousness. The squares represent the form-based reality of our earthbound life while we are here. The bright flower shape at the top represents our connection to source. The sphere shape at the bottom, our connection to earth, equally as bright, yet different. The beauty of flowers is a reminder of how wonderful life can be when expressed fully. Try this. Take a moment to go inside yourself and contemplate your fertility. What are you ready to give birth to? Are there any great and inspiring ideas that you have been holding inside? What is it that you want to contribute to this world? Make a list of all the things you want to accomplish. And then they have the flower of life. With the sacred geometry. That is beautiful. Okay, Spirit, come through.
Exactly.
Okay, what other deck do you have? I'm going to pull the bottom of this one after you go.
Oh, I was pulling the bottom of the numerology one.
Okay.
Forgiveness.
Oh, blue again.
Blue again.
Ooh, forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
That wounded healer, Chiron. Okay.
And this puts me in the mind frame of forgiving yourself. You had to make the choices you had to make. Yeah, you might have repeated the same lessons. Who hasn't? But it's also about forgiving ourselves so we can move on and we can forgive others in the process. It's always meant for us, you know, they say, oh, you need to forgive so-and-so. You need to forgive you. If you can't reach out to whoever, forgive yourself for being in that moment or choosing to be in that predicament or, you know, making that decision. You had to in that moment.
Right.
And it's okay.
Right. All right. Yeah, that's the hardest one, right? And we think that we've forgiven others when we, but we can't bypass ourselves in the transaction. You know, it comes through our experience of it that we can even share it. Right.
Yes.
And like Chiron in his story, he wasn't purposely wounded. It was an accident. And yet it started this cycle then for him of pain and loss that was different from his experience. So I'm sure the forgiveness, the anger, the forgiveness, the blame, all those things, after a period of time, like if you're an eternal soul versus a temporary personality, you realize I can't keep carrying a grudge of this energy. I have to at some point clear the anger. And in our current healing state, to be able to go back into past lives and past experiences or identify with that kind of narrative can be very healing. Because like if you hold anger because you were burned at the stake, you know what I'm saying? Like you might not realize it until you realize you're triggered by like religious oppression or judgment, right? And so forgiving then those who harmed you, you can't bear a grudge against, I don't deal with pastors and church people like in this lifetime because you've not entered that forgiveness, One of the people says, I forget to forgive me. Right, yes. Yeah,
and for a long time, that was my mirror affirmation. I wrote on the mirror, please forgive myself. And so when I would look, I'd be like, okay, I forgive me.
Oh yeah, do the whole pono for yourself, right? I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me, thank you, right? Yes. Yeah, okay, we're having more elevated conversations with each other. And, when bad things come out and are revealed, it might take a while for forgiveness to happen, right? So no judgment in how long it takes a person to reach that point as well, right? Because there's some hard-hearted people, right? And there's a reason in some, in some instances for real, because deeply hurtful things to the psyche and to the emotional health of us. I mean, there are really a lot of damaged people walking around, operating and touching each other in energy with those deep-seated. Chiron was just a little bitty tiny piece of his heel, like one part of his little bitty body that
Yes.
incapacitated his whole self. And that's kind of how we are too.
Yes.
It was one thing can incapacitate our whole self, or at least shift how we grow, you know.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, look at this. Wow, they're on a theme today. Green and blue.
Oh. Ah, yes.
Discernment. I have not received this guidance from this deck before. Very interesting. The frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. Okay, we have to look at that compassion and wisdom at ourselves first. That's beautiful. I'm not familiar with this card at all. It's a 20. So that's what, 2020 vision as well.
And that 2 is all about that balance and cooperation.
That's what this has been coming up, the whole repeated thing here, right? It says that discernment can be described as the ability to perceive or judge well. Now that we are moving, and it's on page 50, there's our third 5. Now that we are moving into a multidimensional reality, we are invited to see polarity and duality with new eyes. Living in multidimensionality is about experiencing polarity with discernment, being in balance with it, and moving in harmony with it. Discernment has to do with our inner guide, the higher part of us that is closely connected to source and can look at things from a perspective of wisdom, maturity, experience, integrity, compassion, and purpose. It is about being in witness mode, being aware without attachment to outcome or direction. In this activation, the color blue is representative of our ability to communicate clearly. It is considered to be the color of truth. The color green is associated with the heart and with healing. Conceptually, circles stand for everything and nothing at all, balance and infinity, purity and freedom. The 3 circles of discernment are contained by one larger one, indicating the unity and coherence inside the center of consciousness. 3 is a catalytic number. It stands for an energy that speeds up or creates a reaction between unrelated things without necessarily changing itself. Spirals are like ongoing circles, but they never close, symbolizing that life never repeats the same cycle twice. This is the way that universal life force ensures ongoing growth and evolution. Try this. Take a moment to go inside to see how you feel. Are you centered? How do you view the world and others around you? Are you kind with your words and your actions? Do you trust your own perceptions, or are you easily swayed by others' input? Are you observing and listening to others without giving your opinion? And what are you saying to yourself? What are your conversations, your internal conversations? What messages are you sending and receiving? Okay. All right. I'm down to my last deck. Do you have any other cards you want to draw from?
Let's see. The bottom of the black moon is 48 Yod, which is destiny.
Oh, 48. There we go. That 12 again. Yeah, destiny. That's a tree of life. Is that on the tree of life? Do you know?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I think that's what this imagery is. It's true. Yes.
Okay.
I just got, this is your destiny to change. Like, it's time to embrace it. Quit fighting it. It's almost like there's a tug of war in my head of, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But it's time to release the rope. It's just time to let go. and let it
Okay.
fall, fall forward into it. Yeah, it's a good feeling. As I keep getting
Okay.
this falling forward and feeling good, coming out victorious on the end.
Okay. Let it combust. Let it go.
Yes.
All right. God, yes. So that's very cool. It's a very fiery image in that picture as well, like that staff almost
Yes.
active flaming torch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. This is the healing energy oracle deck. So let's see what top and bottom wants to come out in terms of where I guess we're dealing the duality polarity, right? Top
Mm-hmm.
and bottom. So the first one, oh. What's that last card again? Pull it.
And we have destiny, we have forgiveness.
Right. Inner work.
Yeah.
God brings me ideal situations for my inner healing. As I become aware of my weaknesses, I turn them into strength. I direct my thoughts toward the light and see the positive side of every stage of my life. Darkness turns into courage, thus I get stronger. Oh, let's just absorb all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Thus I get stronger. Okay, again, God brings me ideal situations for my inner healing as I become aware of my weaknesses. Oh. I turn them into strengths. I direct my thoughts towards the light and see the positive side of every stage of my life. Darkness turns into courage, and thus I get stronger.
Mm.
Okay, and last but not, do you have one?
No, I was looking at breaking down the 12 to a 3, and the 3 is about inspiration, connectedness, that communication, that self-expression.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, and balance, right? Body, mind,
Yes.
and soul. Okay. Oh, wow. Ah,
Perfect.
look at that. Acceptance. I accept every step that life presents me without resistance. I try to find out what the universe is trying to teach me so that I can grow. Thus, I advance in freedom on the path of light. Wow. This is a great message. I accept every step that life presents me without resistance. I try to find out what the universe is trying to teach me so that I can grow. Thus, I advance in freedom on the path of light. Ashe and Ashe
Ashe,
and
ashe,
amen and all
ashe.
namaste and everything.
Yes. Yes. So it is. So it is.
Wow. Beautiful guidance. Really beautiful. All right, for this eclipse energy.
Yes.
Just that's a total package right there. Great
Mm-hmm.
download. Wonderful. I know the chat is over here. I will give it just a couple minutes now that it's kind of dropped in. And if you have any feedback, I see that folks are still streaming, so you're still with us. I just love doing this. I would be doing this by myself. And so the fact that I get to talk with you and also all my friends that I tend to talk about with this and other people from the community, it's just a really fun experience for
Yes.
me personally.
And how it all just came together.
Yeah, it fits. Like we're
Yes.
all getting the messages, right? Trusting
Mm-hmm.
your guidance and how you're getting your communications, how you get, and we're all getting similar messaging, right?
Yes.
And it's just in your own way. The conversation is like having your own secret code, really. But to trust yourself, like if discernment, when it talks about like trust your discernment, trust your vibes, So let's see if anybody else has any comments, and we'll just keep absorbing some of this acceptance and inner work that we're charged to do. All right. Well, everyone, thank you. We'll be back next week. I don't know what we're talking about in card land, but I'll have the schedule up. I think we're cresting towards May pretty quickly. Seems like April was a blink. Please check out, how can people reach you? Give them your 401 your deed.
I am on Instagram at Stay Fly Coaching, and I'm also on YouTube at Stay Fly Tarot. And you can also reach me by email at stayflycoaching@gmail.com.
Yes, and you can check out the interview, lots of insightful information. It'll be in the links.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a metaphysical coach or a cheerleader to process with you, definitely reach out. So, and also if you're in the Atlanta area, you'll be at the Blue Barn, not in May for the first weekend, but the first weekend of June will be your next time at up at the Big Blue Barns, big psychic fair from Gloria Parker. It's the first weekend of every month in Atlanta for the last 25 or 30 years. So well, everyone, thank you for joining us. Buckle up your seatbelts. You've got a couple more hours tonight to get ready for that 12/12 eclipse to usher it in. Light a candle, do something, you know, to really manifest and solidify for you in a way to observe what you're already embodying in your mental energetic state. So, all right, everyone. Peace and namaste.
Namaste.